Umberto Eco's essay Eternal Fascism delves into the intricate analysis of the enduring features that define fascism. Drawing from his extensive knowledge of semiotics and historical events, Eco outlines 14 key elements that constitute what he terms as eternal fascism. Through this exploration, he aims to provide a framework for understanding the persistence of fascist ideologies across time and space.
Before we dive in, if you find this content valuable, please hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and leave a comment below. It truly helps us grow. Now, let's get started.
Your fascism, the core of eternal fascism. At the heart of Eco's incisive analysis lies the concept of your fascism or eternal fascism, a latent seed that Eco contends exists within the fabric of any society, lying dormant until the opportune conditions allow its germination. Eco's assertion goes beyond viewing fascism as a mere historical aberration. He perceives it as a pervasive and enduring threat, capable of rearing its head across different temporal and geographical landscapes. By recognizing fascism as a potential constant, Eco underscores the perpetual vigilance required to safeguard democracy and individual freedoms. His concept of your fascism serves as a stark reminder that the elements constituting fascist ideologies may persist, necessitating a continuous examination of societal dynamics to prevent the rise of authoritarianism and its corrosive impact on the foundations of a free and open society. The cult of tradition, a nostalgic glance backward. Eco underscores the cult of tradition as a cornerstone of eternal fascism, where regimes romanticize a mythical past, urging a return to an idealized golden age. This nostalgic lens becomes a potent tool for rallying support, enticing followers with the promise of reclaiming lost values and cultural identity. By tapping into collective yearning for a bygone era, fascist movements manipulate sentiment, fostering a sense of belonging and purpose. Eco's insight into the allure of tradition within fascist ideologies emphasizes the importance of critically examining the past and resisting the temptation to succumb to oversimplified narratives that can be exploited to advance authoritarian agendas. Rejection of modernism, a fear of the Enlightenment. Eco's examination of eternal fascism unveils a pronounced rejection of modernism, underpinned by a deep-seated fear of Enlightenment principles. In the fascist paradigm, disdain for rationalism, scientific inquiry, and intellectual discourse prevails, cultivating an atmosphere where raw emotion and instinct supersede reasoned analysis. By eschewing the tenets of the Enlightenment, fascist movements manipulate the narrative to undermine critical thinking, fostering a climate where unquestioning allegiance to charismatic leaders and emotive rhetoric takes precedence. Eco's insights underscore the peril of abandoning the intellectual rigor that defines modernism, highlighting the need to safeguard a society's commitment to reasoned discourse and evidence-based understanding to resist the allure of eternal fascism. The cult of action for action's sake, embracing irrationalism. Eco's exploration of eternal fascism delves into the cult of action, a characteristic that prioritizes impulsive and aggressive deeds over thoughtful deliberation. In this paradigm, action becomes a tool to circumvent intellectual scrutiny, creating an environment where instinct and unquestioning loyalty take precedence. The emphasis on rapid, often irrational, responses serves the purpose of consolidating power through emotional manipulation, sidelining reasoned discourse. Eco's analysis serves as a stark warning against the seduction of blind action divorced from critical thinking, underscoring the imperative of preserving a society where considered reflection and rational discourse prevail over impulsive and potentially destructive tendencies. Disagreement is treason, suppressing dissent. Eco underscores the hallmark of fascist regimes, revealing an inherent intolerance towards dissent. In the relentless pursuit of a homogenized society, eternal fascism brands disagreement as treason, unleashing mechanisms of censorship, persecution, and the ruthless suppression of opposing voices. This draconian approach not only stifles individual expression but also undermines the pluralistic foundation of democracy. Eco's insight into the suppression of dissent serves as a poignant reminder of the dangers posed by ideologies that prioritize conformity over diversity of thought, emphasizing the critical importance of safeguarding freedom of expression as a bulwark against the encroachment of authoritarianism, fear of difference, scapegoating and xenophobia. Delving into the intricate dynamics of eternal fascism, Eco delves into the theme of fear of difference. He emphasizes that the longevity of fascist ideologies hinges on the systematic scapegoating of marginalized groups. By constructing an enemy, Be it internal or external, fascist regimes consolidate power and redirect societal frustrations, cultivating an atmosphere ripe for xenophobia and exclusion. This deliberate othering of specific groups becomes a potent tool for manipulating public sentiment, fostering a sense of unity against a perceived common threat. Eco's analysis underscores the imperative of resisting divisive narratives that exploit fear of difference, advocating for inclusivity and understanding as antidotes to the poison of eternal fascism. Appeal to a frustrated middle class, mobilizing discontent. Eco delves into the pivotal role played by the frustrated middle class in the ascent of eternal fascism. Recognizing the potency of economic anxieties and discontent, fascist movements adeptly capitalize on these grievances, presenting simplistic solutions and convenient scapegoats. By doing so, they redirect societal frustrations, gaining traction through the promise of a return to stability and prosperity. Eco's analysis underscores the manipulative nature of such appeals, highlighting the importance of addressing the root causes of discontent and fostering inclusive economic policies to fortify societies against the allure of simplistic, authoritarian solutions that exploit the frustrations of the middle class. Obsession with a plot, conspiracy theories and paranoia. Eco's scrutiny of fascist ideologies reveals a pronounced fixation on a perceived plot against the nation or its people. This obsession with conspiracy theories and paranoia becomes a linchpin for fascist regimes, strategically uniting supporters against an imagined common enemy. By fostering a climate of perpetual vigilance and distrust, these ideologies not only consolidate power but also create a shared narrative that justifies authoritarian measures. Eco's exploration underscores the dangerous potency of unfounded suspicions, urging societies to cultivate critical thinking and resilience against the manipulation inherent in the deployment of conspiracy theories to bolster control and suppress dissent. Pacifism is trafficking with the enemy, embracing militarism. Within the framework of eternal fascism, Eco underscores the glorification of militarism as a central tenet. In this ideology, pacifism is deemed a betrayal, positioning war and conflict as virtuous pursuits. Eco contends that the idealization of military prowess becomes integral to fascist ideologies, constructing a narrative that legitimizes authoritarian measures in the guise of national security imperatives. By valorizing aggression, these movements justify curtailments of individual freedoms and the consolidation of power. Eco's analysis serves as a stark warning against the seduction of militaristic ideals, emphasizing the imperative of safeguarding a society that values peace without sacrificing its commitment to genuine security. Contempt for the weak, social Darwinism and authoritarianism. In Eco's examination of eternal fascism, a recurring theme emerges: the disdain for the weak. Fascist regimes, he asserts, frequently embrace social Darwinism, fostering a hierarchical and authoritarian structure that marginalizes and exploits vulnerable populations. This ideology not only perpetuates systemic inequalities but also justifies the ruthless pursuit of power at the expense of the less privileged. Eco's discernment serves as a stark reminder of the dangers embedded in ideologies that propagate disdain for the weak, underscoring the need for societies to uphold principles of justice, equality, and compassion to resist the dehumanizing grip of eternal fascism. Everybody is educated to become a hero. Cult of heroism. Eco unveils the promotion of a cult of heroism within eternal fascism, where an idealized Superman embodies the regime's values. This emphasis on hero worship extends beyond individual admiration, contributing to the creation of a collective identity centered around a charismatic leader. The glorification of this superhuman figure serves as a potent tool for reinforcing the authoritarian structure, fostering unwavering loyalty among the populace. Eco's discernment underscores the manipulative power of hero cults in shaping a collective identity, cautioning against the potential erosion of critical thinking and individual autonomy within societies seduced by the allure of eternal fascism. Machism and weaponry, gender roles and militarization. Within the fabric of fascist movements, Eco dissects gender dynamics, emphasizing the prevalence of machismo and the exaltation of weaponry. Eternal fascism, he contends, often reinforces traditional gender roles, intertwining masculinity with militarization and physical strength. This association not only perpetuates harmful stereotypes but also serves to legitimize authoritarian structures by aligning them with culturally ingrained notions of power. Eco's analysis urges societies to critically examine the intertwining of gender norms with militaristic ideals, advocating for a more inclusive and equitable approach that dismantles the toxic connection between masculinity, weaponry, and the authoritarian underpinnings of eternal fascism. Selective populism, creating an illusion of mass support. Central to ECO's scrutiny is the concept of selective populism, a focal point in the arsenal of eternal fascism. This involves the artful fabrication of a false consensus, where symbols and rhetoric are deftly manipulated to create the illusion of widespread support. Even in the absence of substantial backing, fascist movements deploy this tactic to project an image of overwhelming popular endorsement. ECO's discernment underscores the danger inherent in distorted populist narratives, emphasizing the need for vigilant public awareness to discern genuine support from manipulated illusions that can be wielded to consolidate power within the deceptive confines of eternal fascism. Conclusion: vigilance against the seeds of eternal fascism. In conclusion, Umberto Eco's exploration of eternal fascism serves as a poignant warning against the ever-present threat to democratic values. By dissecting the recurring elements that characterize fascist ideologies, Eco urges vigilance and critical examination to prevent the resurgence of authoritarianism and the erosion of individual freedoms. Understanding these features becomes crucial in fostering a society resilient to the allure of eternal fascism.